Hi, my name is Dave Murphy, and today for our discussion with Wendy Van Gilst, we're going to discuss Instagram for business.
Yes.
So, what is Instagram? What's all the big fuss about it? I know it's the biggest growing social network in the world at the moment, but
Yeah.
what's the big fuss?
Well, what's the big fuss? I think the reason why it's so popular is because it's so visual.
Yeah.
And we see a trend going on now that people like to consume content that's very visual. We don't like to read, we like to see things.
Yeah, and I think our brains as well absorb visual content much easier than having to read pages and pages of content. A picture tells 1,000 words,
Exactly.
as they say. But what's the difference? There's Snapchat out there. There's Flickr, which is a long established Yahoo network where you can get like a terabyte of free storage. But why Instagram? What's this fuss about? This is what I really want to understand.
Well, I think first of all, Instagram for me it's a very easy to use platform because when you see the pictures, first of all it's good quality pictures.
Yeah.
People take an effort to make a good picture.
Yeah.
It has a lot of functionality, so it's not only the pictures, but it's also the stories that we now have. You can use Instagram Live.
Yeah.
So it's for me it's a very complete platform as well. So when you keep in mind that we like to see visuals, we like to see good quality pictures, but we also want to see the story behind this really nice picture. Because in the beginning Instagram was there and we were all like, okay, the people that I follow on Instagram seem to have the perfect life and the companies that I follow seem to have
the perfect products. Exactly.
Yeah, and we didn't really know what was the story behind it.
Yeah.
But now Instagram managed to do Instagram stories and live video as well, which gives us the complete overview of the perfect picture, the perfect product, together with the story.
Story behind it. Yeah, I think that trend is starting to kind of spread a little bit more where people want to see the rawness of the business or the human behind the business as we use in Sage. So at Sage we have at Sage Official, which I think is probably one of the best examples, and I'm proud to say I've been involved in that, and you've been involved, Wendy, as well with it. And what we do with the hashtag humans of business is we hold up the business providers. We don't talk about Sage, we don't say anything about Sage at all. We just say, look, this is a person's business. They tell us a little bit of story about like some advice of why they set up the business and some general kind of business advice. Do you bootstrap? Do you look after your employees first? All this kind of advice. And we've grown that organically without much advertising at all. And I think that's really interesting. And part of that as well, like you say, is the stories behind that. So rolling out those kind of stories and saying, this is what happens behind the scenes of a business, shows a bit more kind of raw. It's less polished. So all these, like, there are fancy YouTube videos that businesses used to have, or WebEx and stuff like that, are now being replaced like this, like by live videos, because it's a bit more raw. It's off the cuff. It's not scripted. We have a few kind of points that we always talk about on a page, just in case I forget and stuff like that. But I think that's really important. And have you any examples of businesses on Instagram that you feel are doing it really, really well, and why?
Yeah, well, I think because you asked me the question before, and we were talking about how we both use Instagram in different ways.
Yes, yeah.
And what I realized myself is I use Instagram a lot, but I like to follow people. So when I wouldn't follow businesses necessarily, I would follow the owner of the business, for example.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I like about Instagram. Again, it's not talking about the company, it's talking about the people in the company.
The personality of the company, essentially.
Yeah. And I'm not a big fan of following Instagram accounts that only talk about their products. Because yes, when you look at B2C companies, you have a massive opportunity to make a lot of pictures of the products you sell.
Yeah, or like your example yesterday, the coconut water company, for example.
So, and I think if you decide to use Instagram for your business, but you only talk about your own products, even if the pictures are amazing, it's not really engaging, at least not for me. And I think for a lot of people it's the same, because we know the products. And yes, you can make beautiful pictures, and when you hire a photographer, we can all get beautiful pictures. So I think if you, and that's the accounts that I follow, are accounts that are telling the story of the people that work there. Or when I look at big companies, I like to follow the marketing people of that company.
Rather than the company itself.
What do they do? What does their daily job look like? What are their interests? What are they sharing? And in that way, I still get influenced by those brands.
Yes, yeah.
But in a different way than seeing constantly all the products.
Yeah, essentially using Instagram as an ad network for yourself. Yeah. You're actually being touched in a different way by the people who work in the company or influencers, vloggers and stuff like that you follow.
And I think, keeping that in mind, it's really important when you decide to use Instagram for your business that you pick a strategy.
Exactly. Yeah, I really think that's part of the game. So, like we just said earlier on, Humans of Business from Sage Official, I think there's a strategy from the get-go is we're going to hold up the humans of business, the business builders out there. That's really important. Another brand that I really like on Instagram as well is the Happy Pair, the cafe based in Ireland. They're the two guys are completely crazy, funny guys, but they do really interesting stuff because they show their personality. Yeah. You learn something new or interesting each time, whether they do live or they do stories. If they post an image of them working out in their 7-minute workouts in between or 2-minute workouts and that kind of stuff, you always learn something new, and it shows the personality of the brands that they're trying to sell, and they're not just selling you a smoothie or a protein bar or whatever. So I think it's really important. You're more likely to buy their product later on in the day because you've been touched in a nice way by what they're actually saying.
And you feel like you know them.
Exactly, yeah.
So when you go over to the Happy Bear and you see the guys,
you can nearly first say like, "Hey Stephen, hey David," or whatever. It's just break down.
And I think that's the powerful thing of Instagram.
Yes.
The people that you start to follow, and you will see when people start to follow you, and you do the right thing. So you're being very personal. You're sharing personal stories and personal opinions and personal experiences. People start to engage with you. And I think that's what makes Instagram so powerful. You really feel that those people get to know you.
Yeah, they become part of your community.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're inviting people in. And I think it's back to our point earlier on as well, with live video and with stories and with all the different changes. The barriers are broken down now, and you're kind of opening up your brand, your story, your business to the world. So if you invite people in, they have a more vested interest in your brand in the long term, and they become brand champions. Yeah. For you, and they buy your product, they celebrate your product, and they share with other people the knowledge there. I think it's an important part as well. I think of Instagram that the social norms on this particular social network are a little bit different to other social norms on other networks. So I know you've recently did say something in London, and you talked about the 411 rule. Can you explain that and why it's not necessarily applicable to Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So normally when we talk about sharing content on social media, especially for businesses or to build your personal brand, I like to use the 411 rule. So 4 times you share content that's not about you, but is helping or telling people something. So it's adding value to people. To
their business or to the lives to make their work easier, for example.
Exactly, yeah. One time you share a piece of content that is about you, so something very personal, and then one time you share something about your company or the products you sell. Yeah. So you have this nice balance between when you share 6 pieces of content, 4 times you share something where you learn people something, you educate people, you're adding value to people. One time you're being personal, so people get to know you, and then one time you talk about your business, which means that you build up the trust, and that one time when you share something about your business, people are more willing to look at it because they know you always share good content. This is completely different for Instagram.
Why? Is it the mechanisms of Instagram, or what makes it different?
Well, when you look at successful companies on Instagram, let's take the Happy Bear as an example. Yeah. They always share content about themselves or the Happy Bear or the products they sell or their thoughts, their opinions. It's always their own story. Yeah. The reason why we really like them is because we feel like we're connecting with them, we get to know them, we learn from them. Yeah. But it's very difficult on Instagram to share third-party content. You could do it.
Yes, true.
Similar to what Sage does with Humans of Business, but that's a specific strategy that we use.
Yes, yeah.
So if we would take the 411 rule and we would look at a feed, an Instagram feed, it would be very messy.
Yes, yeah, too true.
And people would lose the interest and would find it very difficult to understand why they should follow you. Yeah. So I believe for Instagram you need to take one single approach. Yeah. And not only for your strategy, but also the type of filters you're going to use, the type of style you're going to use.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think you have a lot of experience with photography. Yeah. So I think you're the right person to give us tips on that. But
yeah,
because I believe filters are really important, but from a photography perspective, there are a lot of things you should think about as well when you create your Instagram.
Yeah, I think when you're creating your Instagram account, obviously you're going to think what ways you're going to approach it as a strategy, and part of that strategy as well trying to understand your audience. So I think one of the big kind of things here that we probably have kind of jumped past a little bit is are your audience on Instagram?
Yeah,
is the question.
Yeah.
So I think basically anybody who with a heartbeat in the world at the moment is on Instagram or going to Instagram.
Yeah.
As we said, it's the second biggest growing social network in the world. It's owned by Facebook. I think Facebook, from my opinion anyway, personally, I think Facebook are testing a lot of stuff on Instagram first, like stories, for example. They took that idea essentially from Snapchat, they put it into Instagram. It's usually successful on Instagram, and now you have Facebook stories.
Yeah.
Stories is going on to WhatsApp as well, another Facebook property as well. So you see this development and change, but understanding, I suppose, what your audience wants is really important.
Yeah.
Really, really important. So posting regularly, posting good content that's informative, that will, in some ways, you learn something different about the person. So there's no sound. No sound. No. It's the audio again. No. No sound. Sorry guys, you might be able to hear us now. We have sound issues. Again, no sound issues. So I think getting back to, once we move on from sound issues, I think it's really important to understand your audience when they expect to see a post from you, so that you post on a regular basis. So for example, the happy pair, they would post 1 or 2 posts a day. They might have a live feed, and they also have stories running concurrently, so that you know at some stage, whether you check into Instagram once a day or twice a day, you're going to see something new each time. For Humans of Business at Sage Official, what we do is we post once a day, Monday to Friday, so it's during the business week, and what you see is informative, educational based insights that is knowledgeable about maybe your business, where you're a startup and you want to learn about how do you bootstrap. Here's some good advice from someone who's already done it.
Yeah.
You get that kind of information. So I think you're right, the 411 rule doesn't apply.
No.
Which is fair enough, because it is different. And I think also choosing the tactics that you want to use. There is all of these great features. There's carousel, there's photo, there's video for your normal posts. You also have stories, you have live, and now you have collections as well, all part of Instagram. So it has just about everything that you need. So defining which parts you want to use, and then within that, like you say, finding which filters you're going to use, or which tactic you're going to put in place. So I know from your own Instagram that you put a lot of inspirational quotes and then a photo, and then it's maybe 2 or 3 inspirational quotes and then a photo. So you have a pattern, so people know what to expect on a daily basis from your one, but they don't know what the content of that particular image or post is going to be each time. So I think that's a really good way of building your brand.
Yeah, but I also think it looks nice when you look at your profile.
When you look at the full feed.
Yeah,
I think that's a really important thing as well, is to look at the feed and think maybe in strategic terms, like in chess, maybe think 2 or 3 moves ahead.
Yeah.
On what you're going to do next, and plan a week, plan 2 weeks in advance if you can. And then when you look at your feed, you see wonderful stuff where you have 4 or 5 pictures that make up one big picture, and that's just a bit of forethought put in place on Instagram to show, look, you really care about your audience, and you really care about the contents that you're putting up there as well. And like you said, there's wonderful, beautiful pictures out there by brands, but the story feature, when they start to turn on the story feature, that's when brands really open up. So if you're a business out there, and if you own a coffee shop, or you're an enterprise customer or something like that, open up your business a little bit, because we all have great days where we have employee advocacy days, where we have pizza on site, or we have a few beers and stuff like that. Open that up with the stories, get people involved. There's social heroes in your company who would really understand, that mightn't be their day-to-day job, but they really understand how social works. Give them the reins of Instagram, or work a strategy or a tactic where you can have a different perspective of the business each week. There's loads of great ideas and great ways of using Instagram out there. Building your audience, I think this is interesting. Have you any ideas on how to build your audience? What would your tactics? This is a very tactical thing, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a really good question because it's a question I get a lot. To me, Instagram is the most interesting one, but also the most difficult one to get a lot of followers.
Yeah.
So when you look at accounts with a lot of followers, they have a couple of things in common. First of all, it's consistency.
Yeah.
So when you read success stories from people with more than 1 million followers on Instagram.
But have they bought them?
No.
I don't believe that for a second. I really don't believe that for a second.
I do believe that if you have 1 million followers,
yeah,
you have to start somewhere. So, and when you read those success stories,
yeah,
they all say it's all about consistency.
Yes,
it's all about posting every day around the same time, so people know you're gonna post.
Yes.
That's one thing. The second thing is the quality of the pictures.
The quality of the pictures, yeah.
That's something they all say. And then the third thing, which is the most difficult thing, and I tried it myself for a month, is interacting with people. It's all about interacting with people. Go to other people's profile, leave comments, like pictures.
Exactly. Yeah,
and what I've done for a month is I dedicated an hour per day on Instagram interactions.
Yes.
So I'm not talking about sharing anything myself, but
just
leaving comments on people's profiles.
Likes,
like the pictures, search for specific hashtags.
Yes.
So search for hashtags that are relevant to your business and then interact with those pictures.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or the people that you want to reach, so your customers or your prospects. And what I saw when I did that was that the number of followers on my profile went up quite fast.
Yeah, yeah.
From the moment I stopped, and I was not stopping Instagram, I was just continuing to share pictures, but I stopped this hour of interactions every day, the number dropped.
Did it drop significantly back to the same?
Not to the same, but I lost like 20 or 25 followers per day. And of course, when you have 1 million followers, there's probably a whole team behind your account.
Yes,
and that's the ideal world, and we all dream about this, but that's probably not going to happen if you're a small business or you're like ourselves. We use Instagram because we like it, because it's only you who's going to manage the account. And you probably don't have an hour per day to dedicate on Instagram, but make sure you find time every day to do those interactions.
Yeah.
Because it will help you to bring up the number.
I think that's very good. Like when you say an hour a day, what we've previously done, say example on that Sage Official, was do 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes or 10 minutes at lunchtime, and then 15 minutes at the end of the day to round that off. And that actually includes your time to post, to do your community management. So if anyone likes your stuff, like it back. Seek out 25 in your feed that you like as well, make some comments around the place, and then start building your audience up that way, and follow the hashtags or people who are on the same hashtag as you, or one of the hashtags that you're using. I think that's a really good way of building your audience. I still do believe that people, even though it's against the terms of Instagram, use bots for follower bots, which is quite annoying, and it can be infuriating in some ways. So my advice, I think, for businesses, and what Wendy has said is go after quality followers, people who are going to stick around and who are interested in your business, who have the same interests as you. So if they're using the same hashtag, if you start using a hashtag, say it's business builders or humans of business, or if it's specific to your industry, or say coffee in London or something like that, or whatever it's going to be, follow people on that hashtag, like theirs, because they're going to have a similar interest to you, and that's how you generate your audience. That's how you're really going to build your audience.
Yeah, and if you see an account with 1 million followers and you think they're all fake,
that's
a very easy way to check.
Yeah.
Just check their pictures and see the amount of interactions and likes they get on the picture.
Yes.
Because you can assume when somebody has 1 million followers that they get a good number of likes on a picture.
Thousands and thousands.
So if you see that somebody has a lot of followers but you don't see any engagement on their pictures, you know that they're all fake followers. So don't focus too much on the numbers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that's
Just build it organically, spend time with it. An hour over the course of a day is nothing really if you spend 10-15 minutes in small chunks while you have time. I think that's a really good way of managing it as well. There's other sides of it as well as paid. I think paid's an interesting aspect. We both work in paid social media here at Sage. So would you advise companies just starting out to go into the paid side, or wait till they have a certain number, a certain audience before they start building?
Well, to me, there are two different things. So you have your Instagram account, like we have for Sage, our Sage Official account, which is all about business owners, and we don't talk about ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
We can easily run Instagram ads that are telling a completely different story, and we need to make sure we're not talking about our products again,
exactly,
because that is not feeding the purpose.
It's not relevant to the audience, exactly.
Yeah, but you can run Instagram ads without having an Instagram account.
Yeah.
So to me, there are two different things, which doesn't mean that you should have a strategy behind it.
Yeah.
So if you want to use Instagram ads to sell a product, because every ad has a CTA.
Yes, so you're driving people to the landing page,
yeah.
but specifically if you want to build your audience on Instagram, would you recommend ads, say, even boosting, say, organic content that you've already put up? Is it worthwhile to go that road?
I think you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it will give you a lot of results.
Yeah.
I always find it very tricky to run campaigns where you focus on followers.
Yeah.
Again, because in the end you want high quality followers instead of followers just for the sake of getting followers.
Yeah, just for numbers. So it's again, this is what I'm getting at. Is this just a number chasing game, or are you best? I personally think you're just best to just really engage, spend that hour and a half every day, do some good community management, post regularly, be consistent, send the right signals out, and open your business and your brand up, show a bit of your personality, and that's where people will engage and really kind of get you rather
then run your ads to drive people to your website, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's different purposes, and that's why I think for me they're separate. They're two different tactics.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Using Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I'm thinking kind of the whole live side of things. So currently we have, as we always do when we do Facebook Live, we have Periscope and we have Instagram Live and Facebook Live all running at the same time. Do you think live is something that everybody should do on Instagram?
Well, what I find interesting about live for Instagram is that you see a completely different approach. When I look at Instagram Live videos, it's very often Q&As.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of interaction with the followers of the person who's doing the live video.
Yeah.
So people ask questions, so it's really having that opportunity to speak with the person you follow on Instagram, where Facebook Live, we used ourselves at events or to broadcast presentations or to do sessions like this. And I think Instagram Live is extremely valuable for you if you use it in the right way.
Yeah.
So if you sit down and you use Instagram Live to have a conversation with your followers, to engage with them, to ask them questions and give them the opportunity to ask you questions, so to build a relationship, it's extremely valuable.
Yeah.
If you use it in the wrong way, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah, because I do think Facebook Live is very much broadcast in a lot of ways. You can answer questions at the end, and all that kind of stuff, whereas I think Instagram Live, like you say, is a very good opportunity for people to actually ask questions, get a little bit more knowledge, learn something more from your business or from your brand. Trying to think what else here. So,
well, maybe it's interesting. So if we have people who think about starting to use Instagram for their business, maybe we can give them some very hands-on tips to get started.
Yeah.
So if you're brand new, maybe you already have an Instagram account, but you think about using Instagram for your business, and you have to start from scratch, or you've never used Instagram before, but you do see the value of it. And let's make clear that you know that your customers are there.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing you do, of course. You pick the channels that work for you, as we talked about.
Yeah.
What would be the first tip you would give people if they would start from scratch?
The brand. For a business, I would set it up as a business. If you're going to do it, set it up and claim it as a business. The reason for this is it makes you contactable by your business email as well. It looks much more professional.
Yeah. You do that via your settings, so you go
into your settings and set it up as a business.
Yeah.
Be descriptive, but be short in your description of what you're trying to achieve on your channel from the get-go. So this fits back into what we talked about earlier. I'm not sure if everybody heard it because we had sound issues, but about having a good strategy in advance before you go into Instagram. So is your strategy about showing up, holding up the business builders? Is your strategy going to be about opening up your brand and the personalities in your brand that make your business what it is? And have that strategy in place. and then post on a regular basis when your audience is going to be there. Engage with your audience. So if somebody comments, make a comment back. Obviously, if it's an offensive comment or whatever, delete that comment. But do focus on building your strategy. Focus on what areas you want to use within, what features you want to use within Instagram. So in the post areas, are you going to use carousels? So you can post 10 photographs on a carousel. So if you're at an event, that's the perfect opportunity to use a carousel and post at the end of the day as well to complement your stories. Or are you going to use stories, for example? Are you going to use video? Are you going to use photos? So I think photos for is a given that you should definitely use. Or you can go completely different and just use videos only.
Yeah.
I've seen brands do that, and it's very effective. And you know distinctly that who they are and what their value proposition is within Instagram, which I think is very good. I would say don't share directly from Instagram to Facebook to Twitter, and all of this is the bad social norm to get involved in on social networks. Don't do that at all. And then I suppose the big thing then is as well is make it relevant to an audience and build your audience. So for me, one of the best starting points to use is an app called FocalMark. And FocalMark is an absolutely brilliant app for hashtags because it's an API that plugs into Instagram and it looks at Instagram's most popular hashtags. So, and how it does that is by category. So you can pick a category like food, for example. Then you can pick a second category like black and white if you're going to use black and white photography, and then you pick a location. So it gives you about 25 hashtags for that location, or for those two categories and the location, so that you're relevant to not just people in your industry or your business, but also to people in that location. So you're expanding. It's like audience expansion, which is really, really good. I would also say as well, pick a hashtag for your business. So if you already use a hashtag on Twitter and it's working, use the same hashtag on Instagram if that's what your business is known as. That particular hashtag, I think it's really important to have continuity between the hashtags as they transfer between Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. I think it's really important. And have fun, enjoy it. Make comments, make friends, build your community. Decide what reflects your brand personality. Is that stories? Is it live? Is it all of the features? Which I think is the case sometimes. You know?
Yeah, and I think the good thing when you set up your account as a business, you can see the analytics behind it.
That's
as well.
Brilliant. That is really good.
Yeah, so you can test different types of pictures or videos and see which ones get the most engagement. But also, when you share a picture in the morning, you maybe get more engagement than you get in the afternoon or in the evening. That's one thing I really like. And another thing is you can tag people in pictures as well.
Yes.
So especially in the beginning, when you don't have many followers and you want to position your company, your brand on Instagram, and you're going to use pictures where you have your colleagues on or customers or
exactly.
whoever is in the picture, you can tag those people and they get a notification, which means that they will then go to your account and they'll
like and comment, and they possibly will repost as well. And I think another thing as well is when you tag and mention people, I think as well is to geolocate as well. So wherever the photograph was taken, so if the photograph was taken in London, put the location in London, whether that's the Shard or if it was Dublin and Leopardstown, put that down. I think it's really, really important to do that.
And try to work together with other companies.
Yes.
That's something I really like. I mean, we don't live in a world anymore where you constantly work against your competitors. And even if you don't want to work with your competitors, there's a lot of other companies out there that you can work with that are not directly targeting the same people. But the whole power, I think, behind social media is to work together with people. So if you can work with people that already have a network, and they can then mention you, or they can share a picture of your account on their account.
Exactly.
And you can do maybe something back on another channel because you already have a lot of followers on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever it is. But make sure that you work together with people because there is a massive opportunity for businesses these days
it's
to work
brilliant.
together.
You see it everywhere. You see like Stella McCartney and Adidas or Pharrell and Adidas or all these kind of collaborations that are going around, and it's mutually beneficial for both brands. And you also see that. So Coho, who are a photography network on YouTube, they do collaborations as well, where they do one-for-one videos. So
Yeah.
they get a guest in, they'll do a video with that guest on their network, and then they'll do a collaboration on the guest's network on YouTube as well. So that's what you can do on Instagram here as well. Do collaborations, do 2 videos. It's only 20 minutes or 15 minutes or even 10 minutes. It's up to you to decide, and I think it works. Like Wendy says, it complements the business. We're not all in competition. Even the competitors, talk to your competitors, follow them, like them, let them know you're on Instagram, let them know you're using that social network as well, and spend some time with them. Comment if they put something up that's good that you find is useful, like it.
Yeah, of course,
you know?
And I think another thing that you can do, which works really well on Instagram, is working with influencers.
Yes.
And of course, we don't all have the budget to work with those big influencers, but if you sell healthy food, it's really easy to connect with some local Instagrammers who like a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And just set up a partnership, which can be very low level, just to give them, I don't know, some products to test, and they can share their opinions on it.
Exactly.
But it's a really nice way to get your products in front of the people you want to reach without talking about yourself.
Yeah.
So collaborate with people who already use Instagram, and then work on a partnership that works for the both of you.
Yeah.
And then get the value out of that.
Yeah.
I think that's something that.
I think that's where we are now as well. When you look at YouTube's success and stuff like that, you look at the influencers and you look at the influencers on Instagram.
Yeah.
For example, if you see somebody wearing a particular pair of a particular shirt or a pair of shoes or something like that, and they're an influencer, obviously someone big brand like Adidas or Puma or something has influenced them. So you're going to look at that and go, oh, that's really good, I like that. And then that's how you might get sales as well. Rather than direct sales of, oh, look at our new shoes and all that kind of stuff.
But I think you can do that on a very small scale as well.
Yes, as well.
So if we would do that in Dublin and we would sell a particular product in the Dublin area, we can find people who live in Dublin who maybe don't have 1 million followers, but they do have a couple of thousand followers.
Yeah, 20 or 30,000, which is everywhere in every market, whether that's Birmingham, Edinburgh, anywhere in the UK at all, anywhere in Ireland, you'll find, surprisingly, you will find people with tens of thousands of followers, and they're influential, and they would love to endorse your products, whether that's a cup of coffee at a particular coffee shop that you own, or it's a piece of software, or a case for a phone, or some clothing and stuff like that. They'll do that and mention you in their posts, which is influential for what you're trying to do, which is sell your product and highlight your business. Which is really good. Or they might do a live video and talk about your products.
Exactly.
In the live video, if you sell software, for example, like Sage. So that's really important. So.
And there's one question that comes up to me is, would you schedule any content for Instagram?
No. There's very few networks. I don't think there's anyone at the moment who can schedule and post for you.
Hootsuite is now offering it, but it's not great.
But you still have to manually go into Instagram to complete it. I think it's good practice, because it's going to get there once they open up their API a little bit more. I think it is going to get there, and I think it's maybe the way to go. But when you're starting out, I think back to what you said earlier, I think it's very much about testing. Look at the analytics, see what's worked, what time of the day worked best. It's very surprising to see sometimes when you post on a Saturday afternoon that you get like hundreds of likes, and then if you post on a Thursday when it's like proper kind of social media day where people are kind of, you would expect more people to be on and stuff like that, your likes are way down, probably because you're competing with more noise. That's probably it. And I think what's something Wendy and myself really believe is the micro moments where people are, the kids are in the swimming pool, or you're just about to go get a cup of tea somewhere, and you just check on your phone for a second, and that's where you get people in the not so crowded, not so noisy moments that are Saturday evening just before you have a glass of wine, or Sunday morning just before you go for your jog. I think they're the moments where it's less crowded and you might just get people at the right time as well. Experiment, have fun, enjoy it. I think as well, what comes back to the analytics side, if you see stuff that's not working and you want to change tactic or strategy, it's easy to do. You can delete and start again. That's a really good thing about Instagram. You can delete and start again as often as you want.
And even if you don't, well, you can't really schedule. What I like to do is think a week ahead. So I try to think of which are the pictures I want to share this week. So I have the pictures ready. And I have them ready on my phone, so I know every morning I can post them because I already know which picture I'm going to use. So you still have to do the caption and the hashtags, of course.
Yeah.
You have a bit of a content calendar.
Yeah.
And you can make that even broader, of course. When you do it for your business, you can do it a month ahead if you want. But I think that's the only way I would schedule, as in.
Yeah. I would kind of schedule in some ways. I use Notes for iCloud on the phone, so I have usually my caption, all my hashtags, and the image prepared probably a couple of days in advance.
Yeah.
So all I have to do is just copy on the phone and put it in, and then upload the image.
Yeah.
So I usually have organised my photos in folders within the photo app on the iPhone, so it's easy to find. So it's kind of is a bit of scheduling, I suppose, in a way, and it makes it a lot easier as well.
Yeah.
But I don't really tend to look for reactions because I have a totally different view of Instagram, like what we said earlier on how to run Instagram and stuff like that, from my own perspective and stuff like that, not work related. But no, I think it's really interesting. I think the last bit of advice I would say to people is go have fun, experiment. Yeah. If you're not comfortable, you don't see the returns from it, then stop. Maybe Snapchat's the platform. Yeah. Maybe that's where your audience is. Maybe it's Pinterest. Maybe it's just Twitter and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's Facebook.
It's all about testing.
Yeah. But I think what kind of comes full circle is the chances are your audience is on Instagram. Your audience in their day-to-day lives, in their business, they might be accountants, they might be software specialists, they might be the customer who walks on the street and buys a cup of coffee off you. But in some ways, they mightn't be interested in your business and day-to-day. But at the end of the day, they're human beings. More than likely, they're on a social network. Yeah. And the two biggest social networks in the world are Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is the highest growing social network. Every day, I get notifications from your friend from Facebook has joined Instagram. And it's just, and the generational thing has gone on Instagram now, where I've seen cousins and uncles and aunties in their 40s, 50s, 60s and 70s are now on Instagram as well. Yeah. So it's everybody is on there. So and everybody is your audience, whether they are a business person during the day and a mum and dad at night time. They're going to be checking out Instagram, and you should try and get your business on there. If you have any questions, I think Wendy and myself are available all the time to contact us. I'm dave.murphy@sage.com, or you can get me at I am David Murphy on all the social networks.
My email address is wendy.vangilst@sage.com, and my Twitter handle is wendyvangilst. And otherwise leave questions in the comments. And
we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks very much for your time. Bye.
Bye.